you're safe. I'm here. Holy!
Hey everyone, it's Gilbert.K here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving headfirst into the jungle of Anaconda 2025 review, the meta-comedy horror reboot directed by Tom Gormican, starring Paul Rudd, Jack Black, Steve Zahn, Thandiwe Newton, Daniela Melchior, and Selton Mello. If you love ridiculous creature features, body comedies, and watching filmmakers suffer for their art, this one is going to be fun to talk about. Let's go. First thing first, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also check other episodes. You can listen to this episode and others on any podcast platform. What is new Anaconda 2025 actually about? This is not a straight remake of the 1997 Anaconda. Instead, it's a meta reboot. It's a group of childhood friends who grew up obsessing over the original Anaconda, decide to go to the Amazon and make their own low-budget spiritual sequel. And of course, they run to a very real, very not CGI, budget-friendly giant snake. What if a film school group project accidentally walked into a real monster movie? So it's a mix of comedy, a lot of improv style banter, and Jack Black chaos, adventure, jungle, boats, mud, rain. We are also lost energy. Creature feature, giant snake, jump scares. Why did I agree to come on this trip? Regret? Is it perfect? No. Critics are very split. Some think it's a fun, heartfelt love letter to dumb monster movies. Others think it's a hacky meta reboot that tries too hard. But there's my short version. If you like Jack Black and Paul Rudd being absolute goofballs, while Giant Snake ruins their movie, you're gonna have a good time. If you want a serious horror film, this is not that. This setup, what's the story? No big spoilers here, just the basic setup you'd see in the trailer. We follow our friends who grew up making silly home movies together. As adults, they decide, let's finally go make our masterpiece, our own Anaconda sequel. So they head to the Amazon rainforest, have a tiny story budget, like please don't break the prop snake, it's our only one time. Start filming their fake monster movie and then discover there's a real giant Anaconda out there that didn't sign a release form. What I really like is the meta angle. Shots where we don't know if what we're seeing is their movie or the real danger jokes about bad CGI, cheesy acting, offer remakes, and studio notes, that feeling of we love movies so much, we're willing to risk our lives for a terrible idea. The cast, why they work. Let's talk about performance because that's where the movie really lives. Paul is basically weaponized charm at this point. Here, he's playing one of the friends who takes the "where we're making real cinema guys" thing way too seriously. Even when the snakes show up, you can feel that earnest, hopeful energy it brings to roles like Ant-Man mashed with someone who's one bad decision away from a meltdown. Jack Black is Jack Black in the best way. In an interview, he's called the comedy horror blend like a peanut butter and jelly combo he loves. And you can feel that all over the movie. He's that friend who cracks jokes at the absolute worst time, screams in the most dramatic way possible, but also gives the movie its heart when things go south. Thandiwe Newton brings this grounded emotional weight that keeps the movie from turning into pure sketch comedy. Steve Zahn leans in the neurotic, panicky energy. He's almost the audience stand-in, like, why are we still here? Let's go home. And Daniela Melchior plays a mysterious boat captain, giving us the classic "can we trust this person" vibe that every good creature movie needs. The chemistry feels real, which makes sense because Jack Black and Paul Rudd have said the project felt close to home, since it echoes their own youth making home movies. So how does it look like and feel? The movie was shot in Queensland, Australia, doubling from the Amazon, and you can tell they really leaned into lush green nature, wants you dead environment. Visually, it's a mix of natural jungle beauty, janky in movie footage, and then the more polished real movie we're watching. The Anaconda itself is where opinions go wild. Some critics feel CGI is weak and the snake looks cheap in spots. But honestly, that kind of fits the whole B movie, self-aware vibe. It's a goofy monster flick that knows it's a goofy monster flick. If you're expecting super realistic, terrifying snake effects, you might be disappointed. If you're okay with this, looks slightly fake but it's fun, you'll roll with it. What works for me? The meta jokes. As someone who lives in the film world, I love the inside jokes. Jabs at studio reboots, dialogue like, we'll fix it in post, while they're literally running from a snake. Arguments about cinema versus content in the middle of the jungle. It feels like a love letter to every filmmaker who's ever said, we don't have the money, but we have the passion. Right before everything goes horribly wrong. The heart behind the comedy. Under all the screaming and running, there's this core about childhood friendships, obsession with movies, and how far will you go to chase a dream, even when it's incredibly dumb and dangerous. And that's what stops it from just being a snake. You actually care whether these people make it out and whether their friendship survives the chaos. The pacing, clocking in around 99 minutes, it doesn't waste time. You get set up into the jungle, chaos, final showdown, and yes, a mid-credits stinger that connects back to the original franchise in a fun way for longtime fans. So what doesn't work? For some people, we have to talk about the criticism because they're loud. Critics have called it hacky, overly meta, a soggy first draft with weak CGI. And I get it, the movie leans really hard into meta humor, sometimes undercuts its own tension with jokes, has moments where it feels like a long sketch instead of an actually fleshed out story. If you're not in the mood for that self-aware, we know that this is dumb style, this could absolutely frustrate you. Also, the box office so far have been rough, around $20.5 million worldwide on a reported $45 million budget, which is not great. So this might end up being more of a cult favorite than a mainstream hit, just like the 1997 original eventually became. So how does it compare to 1997 Anaconda? Let's be real, the 1997 Anaconda is not some flawless classic. It was cheesy, over the top, and got Razzie nominations, including one for the animatronic snake itself. But over time, that movie became so bad, it's good comfort food. Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, Jon Voight doing whatever that accent was. A snake that looks like it escaped from a theme park ride. The 2025 version doesn't try to out-serious the original. Instead, it says, we know you think this franchise is ridiculous, cool, let's play with that. So rather than replacing the original, it talks to it. The characters have seen the old movie. The reboot is literally about making their own sequel to it. There's a sense of nostalgia and parody at the same time. If you're a fan of the original, you'll catch references, nods, and that mid-credits moment that will probably make you smile. Fun facts. Meta, from day one, the project was conceived specifically as Meta Reboot rather than a straight remake, leaning into the idea of fans trying to recreate a cult movie. Role swap. Paul Rudd and Jack Black reportedly swapped roles after Black came aboard, which already tells you this was very collaborative. Let's find the funniest version kind of set. Principal photography started in January 2025 in Queensland and wrapped by late February, which is a pretty fast shoot for a jungle movie with creature work. And last minute cameo franchise connected mid-credit scene involving a certain icon from the original was shot in November 2025, way after the main shoot wrapped. As of now, the movie is only in theaters, but because it's a Sony release, it's expected to hit Netflix down the line, likely in 2026. Should you watch it? So here's who I think Anaconda 2025 is for. You love Paul Rudd and Jack Black, and you will happy watch them argue on a boat for 90 minutes. You enjoy meta comedies like The Unbearable Weight, massive talent, also directed by Tom Gormican, and you don't mind movies clowning on themselves. You're okay with creature effects that look a little cheesy as long as the vibe is fun. You grew up on VHS era monster movies and want to see that energy reshaped for 2025. Who might not vibe with it? People expecting straight horror, viewers who don't like meta humor, or movie about making a movie stories. Anyone who wants super polished VFX and a deadly serious tone. Final thoughts. If I had to sum it up in one line, Anaconda 2025 is a messy, funny, self-aware jungle ride that cares more about friendship, filmmaking chaos, and a big laughs at being a perfect horror movie, and that's kind of its charm. Is it going to be everyone's favorite movie of the year? No. Would it become the kind of late night watch people throw on with friends to laugh, scream, and quote? I actually think yes. Alright folks, that's my Anaconda 2025 movie review. Don't forget to check other episodes on my channel and all podcast platforms for the latest films and series reviews, trailer reactions, and exclusive film industry interviews, packed with tips, inspirations, and new recommendations. More stories, more insights, and more movie magic waiting for you. See you in the next one. Until next time, Gilbert.K out.